Hello, good afternoon, everybody watching. Hello, welcome to the stream, people. So we have Mansell, Irfan. Yeah, I know Kalini is we're doing it in English, of course. We do a variety of our chats here. We have a BM guest, sometimes we have an English guest, and today we happen to have an English guest. So we have HusKKiee in the house. Hey, HusKKiee, how are you?
Hi, I am doing great. I don't know why I feel so nervous.
What?
It's supposed to be a chat, right? I don't know why I feel so nervous, even though I've done this in front of the camera for so long. But yeah, thanks for having me.
I know why you're nervous. You're usually the host, and now you're the guest.
That's one, I suppose. Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, you've been doing a bit of a podcast hosting recently. Been seeing your stuff. Good job there. And also, I'd like to say hi to our viewers as well. So, hello Anas, hello Irfan. What's up, guys? Thank you for tuning in, juga. Thank you Nazman for sharing the stream as well. Okay, yeah, that's a warm up for the show. So, yeah, everyone knows HusKKiee. Well, everyone knows HusKKiee. Come on, who doesn't know HusKKiee? You've been living under a rock. Come on, guys. But we do not know his origin story. So maybe HusKKiee can tell us like how how did you start off in the world of shoutcasting as your origin story? Like way back, give
Huh.
us starting.
Oh, way back. Okay. We have time, right? We have time, right? So I
We
can
got
open
time.
up my right. So okay. I was born in a small town of Rob in Pahang. So even back then gaming wasn't really a big thing. With I started playing video games because of my father. Like he used to run a cyber cafe. So back then, like they would have like those, pirated games, like just cheap CDs that you sell. My father had those. Because he ran a cyber cafe, so after every like every other day after kindergarten, he would take me to the office or like the cyber cafe because that's where he worked. My mom was also working as a teacher, so like there's no one to take care of me. We didn't have a maid at that time. I think we only got a maid. My parents only got a maid when my brothers were born. So before that, I spent a lot of time at the cyber cafe. So naturally, I got to play games, and my dad also played games. The first game that he played that he showed me was Age of Empires.
Oh.
For those who don't know, yeah, it's RTS, like kind of like StarCraft, but instead of aliens and mechanical humans, it's basically just different tribes like the Babylonians, the Egyptians, those kind of things. Then after that, he then like the second game he introduced to the family was this game from China. It's a go kart game called Pao Pao Karting Che. So go kart. It's like your Mario Kart, that kind of thing. But yeah, it's very fun. Like you drive around the track, you drift, you get power ups, and then at first it was just him and me. Then it trickled down to our siblings, to my siblings. Like my two brothers picked up. So at one point we had like 4 computers at home, like PCs and laptops alike. All of us would get on at night to play that. My mom wasn't too pleased because it's like, what are you doing, right? What are like your kids are all playing games with you? Then my dad drifted away from that, right? Because like age and all, and then like his job. We move slowly from like a cyber cafe that plays game to a cyber cafe that allows people to do work. Like you go there, you do your Microsoft work, your Google Docs, your studies. Then after that, cyber cafe idea died off, and it became a fully computer sales and service center. So by that time, I was already into game, and then his employees would introduce me into games down the road. The first game that I played online was Maple Story. His employees
Mm.
introduced it to me, but I was too young to have an account, right? Because that time when you need to create a Asia Soft account, you need to be at a certain age, and I wasn't at a certain age. I didn't have identification number, so I had to like borrow the account from the workers.
How young were you that time?
I think I was like 7, 8. Like after kindergarten, when I first saw that, it was 7, 8, around 7, 8. Yeah. Then at 9 years old, I was introduced to Dota by my friend, my classmate, who was introduced to Dota by his uncle. So yeah, so it spread that time World of Warcraft, right? So like you go to a local area network. That time Garena offered server hosting for Dota. So that has been a big part of my life. And I spent the majority of my primary and secondary school playing like RPGs, MMORPGs, and Dota. Like Dota is the one RPG I played. I played a bit of like mission mission against terror, MAT. Yeah, but primarily it's Dota and MapleStory. But so the turning point where I wanted to be a caster, or like I got interested, was at 15 years old. That time it was TI3, 2013 Alliance versus Navi, the year where Orange Esport was third place. The legendary KYXY Aegis Deny, all of that. Yeah, I watched the grand finals of Navi Alliance, and I think that time I forgot who was the commentator, but it got me very interested. Like I feel like, oh, it's very exciting. I hope that one day I can be at the big stage. Like I could be the voice that commentates Dota. Yeah, so that's where it sparked my interest. But because of where I came from, there was no such thing as esports. There's no competitions. Gaming is a pastime. We go to CC, those very rundown CCs, like very dark, no lights, because they scared that the police would come and summon them to pass time. So we're playing on like crappy PCs with very bad internets. Yeah, so there's no esports. So for me, the concept of like esports is doesn't exist to me. I just know that people play for money.
But
Like
I find it
WCG back then.
I actually find it fascinating that at the age of 9, between 9 and like 15, whereby you watch TI, you
Uh,
play Dota and everything, you can comprehend Dota.
yeah. So okay. So fun fact is that I I'm not the worst at study, but I don't like studying. Like I really don't like studying. The only subject that I was ever interested in, were English, physics and chemistry. Everything else was like I don't want to have anything to do with them. But because I got so invested in Dota, because my friend that introduced me to the game back then, before Dota 2 was a thing, he was like really good at it thanks to his uncle, right? So me and like a bunch of my friends, we all like looked up to him a lot because he was that good at the game. He's already a genius in academics, so he's then that translated into his gameplay also. Like he was like destroying us every game. He would like fountain divers. Back then you can destroy the fountain, so he would do all those. So we all of us were really like, we really loved the game, and we really wanted to beat him. And now he's not playing anymore lah. Like, but yeah. So I would go on like forums, Warcraft forums, to look for guides. And back then people write a lot of guides, right? So I would spend days just to read about the mechanics of the game at the age of like what, 9, 10, or like 11, like between that. Because that was the Dota 1 era. So like, or like last hitting creeps, denying creeps, creep wave management, timing, item spikes, hero. But I would read everything. So like at that age, I already remembered like what is last hitting, like all the mechanics of the game that people take months to even understand. I already understood it at a young age. So when Dota 2 came out, that was where I got even more invested lah. Then TI3 was the point where I wanted to try out, but there was nothing yet, at least from where I came from. Yeah. Oh, just to like add a bit of context, the first competitive Dota tournament I watched was actually WCG. That time the strongest teams were from China, and the strongest team was called Nirvana CN. So like way back in the days, Nirvana was the strongest. So it got me really interested. So yeah, then we carried that forward to Dota 2. Then 15 years old was the age where TI3 happened, and I wanted to do Dota, but I didn't know how to. That time League of Legends also was released, right? It's like League of Legends celebrated their like 10th year or something. Yeah, so the 10th year, so it's like 20. Yeah, so League of Legends came out. I played since beta. There was a period where I was juggling between those two games, and I was decent in those two games. Like even today, I'm surprised that I remember every hero and skill name from Dota, every item from Dota, and also from League of Legends, because I invested so much time, and it carried on forward into college, where I would play Dota with a bunch of friends. I'll play League of Legends with another bunch of friends. Then 2017 was where everything changed. Garena put out an announcement. We have a Shoutcaster workshop. Give us your details, your name, your age, all those stuff, your rank. And at that time, I just hit platinum in League of Legends, which to me was a huge achievement, right? So I submitted, and I got shortlisted. And I remember when I got shortlisted, that night I received the email. I was outside. I was at Sunway University. I just finished my Toastmasters meeting. For those who don't know what it is, it's basically like public speaking stuff. It's a club for public speaking. You need to pay and all, but you actually learn a lot from it, like how to speak, how to deliver, and all those stuff. So I was walking through the foyer of Sunway University. I saw the email and I was super happy lah. Like I almost cried. I was like couldn't shout in public because that would be awkward. But I received the email and the first lesson starts like the day after in the evening. That time it was at Sepute, the Garena studio in Sepute. So that was the first time I met the Garena crew, like Jan, Arthur, like Shirley and all those people.
Arthur as in the
So I
Dota
went there.
Arthur?
Oh, not the Dora Arthur. There's one ex Garena employee, called Arthur. Yeah. So or like people know him as Bacon online. Like, hey, hi is Bacon, or hey, is Bacon. That online persona. So that Arthur. Yeah. So Garena people. I cannot believe I remember it so vividly. Sorry, I'm rambling on a lot because I didn't like. I didn't think of it that much. Now that I think about it, I actually remember a lot of things. So like that day, I took Grab because I was still studying. I took Grab to Sepute. Didn't know where the area was. Got to the studio, which was like a rented house. Then Jan opened the door. I walked in. Then the first lesson commenced. That's where I met with like Contra, Gideon. The Hound was there. I think Lin was there also. Not sure if Matthew was there. Camel, but down the road he was there lah. We had two more guys that was with us from the beginning. One is called Boon Hong, I think, if I remember, it's Boon Hong, and the other one is Bami, like very chubby Malay dude, very very friendly Malay dude. Bami disappeared after the first session, never came back. Boon Hong stuck until the end, but didn't make the cut. I think he just didn't feel like this is what he wanted to pursue, but he gave it a shot. Very talented guy, very knowledgeable about the game. Actually, the most knowledgeable out of all of us at that point of time. But the workshop was supposed to be 1 month, 8 sessions, so 2 sessions per month. Oh no, sorry, per week on the weekend, and it was led by Crow, which was a former coach for KL Hunters. After that, went to Fire Dragoon or Frostfire, and then he went to coach Brazilian teams. I think he retired already with his family. Now staying with his family in the States, if I remember. But yeah, really great guy, really good mentor. Taught me a lot of things, to be humble and all. So we're supposed to have 8 sessions, and by the end of the last sessions, we have a mock cast, right, to see like evaluation to see if you are fit enough to be on the screen. But halfway through the workshop, the TLC season started. TLC 2017 summer, and they needed people, and they didn't have enough people.
All right. Can I backtrack a little bit? Like in those 8 sessions, right? Like what do they cover?
So they cover like game knowledge. They cover prep, for example, like what do you need to do to prep. So that's where we actually got our habit of dressing up professionally. Like if you notice, like me, Contra, Gideon, we always walk around with like suit and tie. That's where we got it from, Garena, because professionalism is very like is well strict isn't the right word, but we emphasize on that a lot. So suit and tie, suit and tie, suit and tie. Wear formal. Be professional. Do your prep. So we do homework. We read patch notes. We discuss about patch notes. We also did exercises on like catching the ball. So there's this exercise we did with like 4-5 of us, where we sit in a circle. Crow, our mentor, would turn on a VOD like we have never seen before, or like maybe we watched but we didn't like really thought about it. But basically, it's a game that we haven't casted. He would play from a random point, and then he will point to one of us, and then we will have to start talking, and then just goes all around. And it was very challenging at that point of time, because we just started, right? So we were like, oh my god, this is not easy. We have to pass and pass and pass and pass and pass and pass. Rinse and repeat. Yeah. So we learn about that. We learn about making our points like concise, just the basics of delivery. I think we didn't go too much into the intricate things because we are there to just start learning. So it's all about the fundamentals, right? The very basic stuffs. So I think So I think it's more focused on game knowledge and prep and delivery and like what we can do down the road. How do we make our points more clear? What are our weaknesses? I remember Crow, he is a very thoughtful guy. He would send us personal email to tell us like what we can improve on, what are we doing good. We had to do mock cast session. We had to be paired with other people. Oh yeah, there's actually more people. There's one guy called Higabees, not casting anymore, but he was my partner. Then like we had to do mock cast, and then we sent to Crow, and then he would give us feedback. He would actually like we would be in a room, the meeting room in the Garena office that time, and then he would talk about, okay, so I've listened to all of this, blah 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 blah. Yeah, that's basically what we learned. So fast forward, we got thrown onto the broadcast. Like I just received I think a call or an email. I think a call from Jen. I was in college. I was in the college library, like studying or like doing assignments. I got a call from Jen. So I walked out of the library. I picked up. I'm like, hey, hi. Then Jen was like, so TLC starting. Like, will you be interested to cast or something like that? So I said yes. That is going to be our first cast. And when I said that, I was like, oh my God, we are just halfway through this. I have no idea how to do it. And we are just going to do it that weekend. So that weekend, it was an evening broadcast, so evening to night. Me, Contra, Gideon were there. We all got paired with Hound because at that point he was the most experienced one. And on my very first cast, I was able to identify like what kind of caster I wanted to be. Because back then everyone still was trying to figure out, do I want to be a color? Do I want to be a play-by-play? But I knew I wanted to be a play-by-play, and I didn't say it out loud lah, because it's like my first day, right? So Hound was leading everything, and then all of us, like Gideon and Contra, were doing the most of the color because we're just learning the ropes. And I remember that time it was Orange Esports versus some other team. I don't remember which team it was, but I remember Orange Esports was playing, and they were winning the game. So when the final team fight started, it just so happens that the ball was passed. And I remember I just took over it and I never looked back. And I remember looking at Hound, and Hound was just giving like, keep going, keep going, keep going. So I kept going, and I closed out the game. And that was when I know that, okay, this is what I wanted to be. And I think like at that instant, like a lot of like Contra and Gideon were like, oh my God, like impressed. Crow was impressed. Like I remember he sent me an email that like motivated me until today. Like in the email, he said something along the lines of, "You're by far the best play-by-play we had." Yeah, so that really like affected me. Like, gave me a really how to say in English? Like 深刻的印象. Like it's very impactful. It's a very important moment in my life.
And that was League, right? The
That
game
was League of Legends.
Right.
Yeah. Like when I listen back to it right now, I would say that I'm pretty trash. Like, like when I listen back to my first cast, I'm like really bad. But I would say that maybe at that point of time when Crow said that, it was a good affirmation, because I didn't know what to expect, right? I just knew that I did my job, and I hoped that it was fine. And when I got that, I really felt like super happy that, oh, like I cannot believe that a coach, someone this experienced, acknowledged it. So from that point onwards, I made it a point that play-by-play is going to be my thing.
Yeah,
And
talking about acknowledgement, I like to acknowledge some of our audience as well. So Aisha, thank you for the 30 stars. So she said she just finished a third interview today and more to come. So all the best for your interview. It's a job interview. And Red Queen is actually in the house as well. Thank you for the 40 stars. So she's asking what we're talking about. So we're actually talking about the origin story of HusKKiee.
so weird origin story, but yeah, so that's that. And then that's basically how I started, and up till now I've done like close to 13, 14 different titles, but now I'm primarily doing Valorant and Wild Rift. I'm now doing VCT and the upcoming WCS, and no Free Fire on the side, Dota and all that, but not much Dota anymore. No, there's not much opportunities here. So I after like so many years of pursuing Dota as something that I would, give up everything to get, I decided to put that aside. So I still play the game, I still watch the game, but I don't really pursue casting in Dota anymore. I feel like as a career choice, to make a living out of it, it is not doable. So yeah, I recently made this choice that Dota is no longer my priority after more than a decade.
Right. But when you first started off casting, okay, you did the arena thing while you were studying and all that. Do your parents know about it? Like, are they supportive or are they skeptical? The typical Asian parents.
Well, my parents knew about it. I told them that I am doing this, but I didn't know how to explain the concept because I myself did not understand the concept, right? It started off as a hobby, something I wanted to do, check off the bucket list, and it became a career, like 5 years, like up to now. So that is like the luckiest thing in my life. Like it's a blessing lah. But I told my parents, and then when we started doing TLC, obviously it's a paid gig. We get paid. But my parents are very like they typical Asian parents because both my parents were teachers. My dad was a headmaster, now he's a businessman. My mom is still a teacher now, so academics always comes first, right? It's always about studying, 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 get good grades. Good grades means good future. So when I told my mom that I'm doing this, my mom would always like call me and say, like, are you doing okay? If it's too much, you can come back to it like in a few years. But I said like, but I'm earning my own money, so that because I had the mindset of if I earn my own money, I can ask less money from my parents. I even though it isn't much, but it's something. It's not even enough to cover my rent, but it's still something, right? Yeah. Then my mom would be like, "Why are you spending so much time doing this games all day?" Because it's associated with playing games. Like study, please study. Like you're wasting your time. It took them 2 years, I think, to start accepting what this is. But even then, when I did my very first broadcast, I told everyone. Like, I told my classmates, I told my parents. My mom tuned in, but I didn't know what game I was doing that night. So I only told her what time the stream would start. I didn't tell her what time I go live because I didn't know myself, right? Because I didn't know how esports broadcasts work. She waited until I went live and she watched the whole thing without understanding anything. Yeah. So even though she complained a lot, she still watches. She still shares my Facebook post. And then I think 2018 when I went to Dota, there was Acer Predator at One Utama. That was the first time my parents went to an event of mine. They fetched me there. I showed them around. My dad wasn't there. My dad had to do something else, but my mom was there. So I introduced her to the friends I met. She sat for like 1-2 games before she left. Yeah, that was the first time they went to my event.
But how do you grew from like TLC to anything else from there to Predator? I think that was the next stage that you just mentioned. Like, do you just get calls or do you still need to like, oh guys, this is my reel, hire me please, that sort of thing. What happened?
Okay, so I feel bad for saying this, but please, like to those listening, to those like who aspire to be a caster, please have your own reel because I don't really have my own reel up to today. I don't have a proper reel. I was lucky enough because the people I knew knew other people, right? Networking, right? So they recommended me, and the organizers trusted their judgment and they got me. But before I went to Dota, we did Arena of Valor, we did Free Fire. At that time, the scene for League of Legends was slowly dying off. It was slowly shrinking. And at that time, there was a lot of things happening in Garena. AOV got released as Free Fire. Manpower was diverted, and resources were also cut from League of Legends. And Garena was really kind to us. They wanted to keep us going. They wanted us to keep growing. They don't want this to be like, oh, if League of Legends dies, then that's the end of us. And we knew we wanted to keep on doing this, so they sent us to AOV. We did some Free Fire. Yeah, so we stuck together for a while. But when we reached the point where we have to like part ways, like find our own path, Mobile Legends came up, and Kidian and Contra went to Mobile Legends. We reunite at AOV, but that's pretty much it. They will do Mobile Legends. I will go on to do Dota. And my first Dota gig was Predator Cup in Penang at Gurney Mall, Penang Gurney Mall. So at that time, I think Lala that time still Mineski, right? He approached Contra and he asked like, "Hey, can you do Dota?" And Contra said like either he can or something. So he recommended me, and Lala called me. And it was just really spontaneous because I was at the busiest time of my college life. We were having assignments to do, and we were also like doing some projects where we like volunteer work for a convention, right? So we go there, we man the booths. So it's really tiring. Like me and my classmates, we booked at Airbnb, like 7 of us squeezed into one Airbnb. Like morning, we wake up super early. We go to the convention. We work until like evening. We have dinner. We go back. We stay up the night to do assignments. It was a very busy week. But then I got the call while I was at the convention, and it was a Tuesday, I think. So they asked if I can follow them to Penang on Thursday because it starts on like Saturday or something. I said I cannot. I cannot make it. But I will buy to fly there on Friday. And that's what I did.
So
I stay out
the
to do my
cost
assignment on
was your
Thursday.
own cost to fly to Penang?
I think so. I actually don't remember if it was reimbursed, but at that point, at that time, I didn't care too much. I just wanted to do this because I have always wanted to do Dota, right? So when the first opportunity popped up, I wouldn't miss it. I would do anything to get there. So I think it was reimbursed lah. I think it was, but I stay up Thursday night, finish my assignment, only got like 2-3 hours of sleep. Then Friday, a friend fetched me to the airport. I took the afternoon flight, reached there, check in everything. Evening, I went to met with Lala and the rest of Mineski for the first time. And Saturday was like and Saturday was like the first day, and my partner was on the go. So if you guys don't know, on the go started with Dota also. Yeah, my partner was on the go, and then it was like that's how I started Dota. Then after that,
I knew
TIA qualifiers.
I knew On The Go did Dota though. So he did English Dota with you?
Yes, he did English Dota with me.
Interesting.
He was also a very important figure in my life. I don't think I've ever told him this lah, but he was a very important figure in my life because he was also like the next person who like really affirm what I can do. He says something like because when I went to Dota, when I did Dota with him, he like we enjoyed it process, like he loved it as well. And then he was saying things like I'm just paraphrasing because I don't remember the exact words, but something along the lines of like, oh, like now that you're here, it's hard for me to compete or something. And I thought he was joking, but I think he was dead serious lah. Like, oh, now you're here, then there might not be a place for me. And like I didn't know how to feel about it because I think that without him, I wouldn't be doing so much Dota, right? He was the one who like pitched me to future Dota events, like put me out there. So yeah, so like that meant a lot, but also like it's a bit sad because I at that point I thought that we are going to be like the duo. We are going to do this for a long, long time without knowing that Dota is slowly dying. But I still was able to do like 1-2 events with him. The one after the Predator Cup was TIA qualifiers for Southeast Asia. The time was at the EGG studio. He pitched my name, and he really pushed me, to like them to get me. And that's how I did my second Dota gig. TI qualifiers for SEA. Then after that, one more Acer Predator League, 1 or 2 more. And then like there's like a 1-2 gap year in between where the next big thing was the one esports C League for Dota 2. And that was my last biggest league, I would say. And after everything was just like smaller scale one like FSL, GEG, WESG, those in between. Yeah.
Why are you, after so many years, right, why is Dota still that game for you?
Well, I think because I grew up with Dota. That's one. It has been a part of my life since 9 years old, so it's like 16 years of my life I've dedicated to Dota, to studying the game. Even though now I'm not really that good at it, but it's a big part of my childhood, right? More than half of my life is Dota. And also like it's given me so much entertainment. I know so much like the history and all. And I get to cast the game. And also one thing is like the complexity of the game. And across over the years there have been other games popping up like the closest contenders, League of Legends, Obviously, there are smaller ones like Heroes of New Earth, Heroes of Storm, those MOBAs. But League of Legends and Dota are the closest competitors. And I think what made me choose Dota is that it is so complex. There is so many things in Dota that can change, so many variables. Just the sheer complexity and the intricacy of the game makes it really exciting for me. I just enjoy watching Dota and playing Dota, knowing that, and I think it also fosters a mentality to a lot of players, including me, that it is not over until the throne explodes, because you can't surrender, right? Contrary to League of Legends, where you can surrender at 50 minutes, right? If people start giving up at 15 minutes, and it's very hard to recover from a snowball because of just how the game mechanic works. And I'm not saying that it is a bad game mechanic, it's just something that I do not prefer, right? It's not to my taste. I want the possibility of being able to turn a game around. I want the infinite possibility of that. And I don't want people to be like, oh, the game is over at 10 minutes and just press surrender every, whenever they can. It's very demoralizing. So Dota is the game for me. It's just knowing that you can win a game. And then you play for 60 minutes, you play at a deficit for 60 minutes and you just win that one fight, and then and then you throw the opponents. It's just so satisfying. And that's why Dota is still the game for me. Even though I've kind of given up on pursuing it as a casting career for Dota, the game is still a very special game to me.
But talking about special, so we have special viewers, of course. So shout out to Mickey Asano Iman. He's from Singapore, by the way, sending 100 stars. Thank you. He's giving a shout out to our esports shoutcaster. You rock, man, you rock. And Alex Kai is also watching as well. Legendary person in the scene.
Oh, I haven't seen him for a long time. I still remember the pizza party he threw for us at Pizza Hut, Subway Pyramid. You were there, right?
I wasn't there.
You were not there?
Yeah, I don't think
I remember that because I remember that because it was a pizza party, and also because they took the group picture and they cut my face in half. That's why I remember that. Yeah.
Man, okay, but tell us about the like other game titles that you've casted along the way. So, I mean, I know as well that Dota is as much excitement I get from Dota as well, but the opportunities in Dota is just as such. So you need to expand your horizons to other games. You mentioned that you casted how many titles early on? I think you keep track of
13 or 14.
13 or 14.
I think okay, so if I go down the list, we would know how much. So League of Legends.
Okay, here we go.
Arena of Valor, Free Fire, Mobile Legends, Dota 2, PUBG Mobile, PUBG PC, Call of Duty Mobile, what's the game? Brawl Stars, Eximius Sees the Front Line, Wild Rift, Honor of Kings, Wang Zi Rongyao, Rainbow Six Siege. That's all I can think of off the top of my head. So even that, there's already 13. I feel like I'm missing out something, but
fighting games, card games.
Nope.
Football?
Never done fighting games. Never done football. Never done sports games. Yeah. So I think that's pretty much it. As far as I can remember, that's it. So 13.
13, right.
Yeah.
Thank you. 100 stars again from Mickey. So he says, please go and shoutcast at the Malaysian PM to open the border. That all casters can come here and I belanja you guys makan-makan.
Well, border, wait, where? Oh, because it's right. Okay, got it. But yeah, I think that's. Oh yeah, Free Fire. So 14, right? Did I say Free Fire? Oh, I did, right? I did say Free Fire.
I think you said that. So.
Yeah, I feel like that's pretty much it. I actually don't remember doing anything other than that.
Okay.
So we'll leave it at that. 13 is the number.
13. But the range of the 13 games are actually quite big. I think generally people know games, they would know okay, Dota is very different from Rainbow Six, for example, and then it's very different from Free Fire, for example, and all that. So the range of 30 gigs. I mean, even if you stack up like the MOBAs itself, jumping from one MOBA to another, the range can be like the range of knowledge can be very big, right? Like, how do you personally adapt to so many game titles that has like a wide range? And I'm not talking about like FPS. This is like FPS to MOBA to a mix of FPS and MOBA and everything in between.
Well, actually, I think it's also like I I will like learn the game as best as I can. Uh, no, there are some titles where I enjoy commentating and watching, but I don't enjoy playing as much. Like the pacing might be a bit too slow for me and those kind of stuff. Or maybe I don't have as much time. But I would try to learn the game as much as I can. If I cannot go in depth, I would try to like at least know it at a fundamental level. So when I commentate, at least I know what is going on. Um, so at that time, we had to diversify. Like if we want to keep ourselves in the game, we have to diversify, and that means taking on whatever gig that comes our way. Just the mindset of saying yes and learning later. You know, say yes first, then learn how to do it. I basically powered through my years doing that, just learning as much as I can about the games. See like what I can commentate, talking to people who have done the game before, how the commentary style is going to be. Like Battle Royale is different from MOBAs, it's different from SPS. Basically, just like that, I suppose. Just rinse and repeat for every game title. Before I reach the point where I feel like, okay, I have done all of this, but I don't really want to do this forever. Doing like 10 different titles, you know. I want to specialize. Hence why I'm now doing like Valorant and Wild Rift. Like specializing in these two, just putting in all my effort to learn everything about the game, to know about all the pieces involved, all the teams and players. But yeah, I think it wouldn't have happened if I didn't do all those other titles. It really forced me to challenge. It really forced me to like adapt and grow. You know, and just knowing that, oh, if I already said yes and I do a poor job, then that will be my last. So I have to do a good job. Yeah.
Hmm. Okay, I'll just backtracking a bit. So, what do you study again for this?
I study mass communication.
Mass comm. Okay, so that kind of relates to what you do right now. But do you like
Yeah.
straight like jump into casting after study, or I know that you work a little bit something else non-related in between.
Oh,
Mind to share about that?
I was studying while I was casting. I was doing my degree that time. I think it was my first year of degree. Which I got into the workshop and then we did our first cast. I was in my degree. It was my first semester of degree. If I remember, it was my first semester because it starts in April, and April was when I got the invitation. Like April, yeah, and then May 31st was the first day we went on broadcast. I remember that day. So yeah, it's first time in degree, um, and then like I guess I just jump into it without knowing how to do it. I mean, we learned from our mentor, but we didn't know like how to do right because it's like, oh, so we talk, but what do we talk about? How do we go about it? How much time do we have? You know, how do we convey the message? Which was why when I like just went for the play by play on my first game, it felt really good because I think I guess like one part of me was very happy that whatever I learned and studied about the game actually came to fruition. I was able to point out everything in the fight without knowing the true concept of play by play. I just know that there's one guy that shouts at the action. There's one guy that talks about all the fight, you know, all the big team fights, and I want to be that guy. And I was inspired by Captain Flowers and Quick Shot from League of Legends. Captain Flowers from the NALCS, which was my biggest inspiration. And Quick Shot from LEC, which is Europe. So yeah, so when I did that, it felt really good. Like, oh my god, so this is how it is, and the rest is history.
For someone who's so invested into Dota, right? I'm surprised to hear that you are inspired by a League of Legends caster.
Yeah, I think Dota, I also have my inspirations, but since that League of Legends was where I started, so I had to watch League of Legends game. Dota, I was inspired. Like obviously, I think everyone at one point heard of Toby1 and loved Toby1. Like he was also one of the first few commentators. Well, he's no longer here, but you know, before all of those incidents happened, he was like the voice, right? Then there's Capitalist and OD Pixel, so those two are like what came after him, and they are also pretty incredible. I thought that OD Pixel was going to be like my inspiration for Dota, but afterwards I feel like maybe Capitalist is the one that resonates a bit more with me. But regardless, they all have something that I learned from. But yeah, because of League of Legends, I watched League of Legends, and it's Captain Flowers and Quick Shot. And I think my background also helped me be a bit more comfortable in front of a camera and talking about things, because I do a lot of like performances since kindergarten, like graduation performances, like reciting poet, singing, public speaking, debate, choir, all of that since a young age. So it prepped me for this. And while I was casting, I was attending Toastmasters, so that's public speaking, and I was hosting college events. I was like one of the few MCs that people will always go to, like pretty high demand. So it really like kept me polished with what I know at that time, and it helped me ease into shoutcasting. Yeah.
Hmm. And how about your appearance? For the longest time that I've known you, you've always had a thing with the hair. Like whenever people remember HusKKiee, it's like people remember the hair. Like there'll be a pink hair moment, there'll be like a super spiky hair moment, and now we have this I don't know what they're gonna call it moment, like the longer hair moment. Like tell us about your appearance, and do you deliberately do that for broadcast, or how did it come about?
I think it's less for the broadcast and more of like myself, like an identity. So I was like your typical kid, right? I'm not like super good looking, like compared to my peers, a lot of my peers. I'm just like the normal guy, and I'm like socially awkward in school. I don't really have like a gang I hang with. I hang with everyone. So and then like being a teacher's child isn't any easier because everyone looks at me differently. So like I was just the guy that people look at as like someone who cries a lot, because I easily cry. So I cries a lot, very fragile and weak. Like I play basketball. Like I remember like one guy, he just like I tried to block him and I fell, and then he was like, "Whoa, this guy is like so fragile," and all of that. Like so, I was known as a scrawny, weak kid, cries a lot. Very awkward, just normal, like very like not, just like a very innocent face, right? Like like easy to, like very gullible, like not really good looking either. Everyone looks at me and be like, "Oh, this guy's ugly," whether it's a joke or for real lah. My parents, my friends would be like, "Oh, this guy, big forehead, big nose, this and that." So I've been growing up with that, and I didn't know how to like dress myself up, because everything was done. Like, my parents would give me like dress shirts, and they would say, "Wear this," Like, if you don't wear this, they scold you. Those kind of things. So I never really knew how to dress up. Never really knew how to uh, like groom myself. And when I entered college, it was a culture shock because I come from a small town. So when I came to the city, everyone was so well dressed. Like, oh, some people are very street style, some people are very formal. Like that's where I started seeing. And I'm not kidding. That's where I learned that there's like crop tops, shorts, all of that I didn't know existed. It was a huge culture shock. But since I grew up watching Western channels and I learned English by myself, so I would say that I probably am a bit westernized because I keep watching Western shows and things on YouTube. So like I always felt like uh I wasn't like in an environment that lets me be myself. Because I grew up in a very Chinese environment. Everyone is so Chinese. Like English wasn't even a thing. People don't care about English. The way they pass English tests were memorizing essays, all that. So like, oh, people look at me and be like, "Oh, so what's the point of being good in English?" And even then, I was preaching to my classmates that please pay more attention to this language because it's international. You will need to use it, but no one listened. So like when they got into college, obviously I got the last laugh lah. I'm like, hey, what did I say? Now you come to me ask for help. But I mean, I still help, but a part of me feel vindicated. So when I came here, got a culture shock, I realized that, okay, I need to start learning how to groom myself. Back then I had like the very short hair, like your typical short hair, like not even half of this. And then like I was trying out different styles, just buy a hair gel or hair wax and just like going ham. The only person that has seen me in real life with one of my most awkward hairstyle was Contra, because we met way before we started casting together, and it was by coincidence. I was doing an assignment and I needed to interview someone from Astro, the radio station from Astro, from Fly FM, I think. Hits FM, sorry. Contra was an intern, so he was the one who led me up to the meeting room. That's where he first saw me. He took the picture for me and the guy, but it was a very awkward hairstyle. Like I was that. So think of it like this: short hair. I just grabbed like a bunch of wax. I just swept it back like some lion mane like that. So it was really messy. It's like, oh my god! I looked at it and I'm like, what am I doing? Yeah, and I still trying to find my hairstyle my style at that time. But I was able to identify like what kind of clothes I like to wear. I got into long sleeves. I wore a lot of long sleeves. Like you see me in long sleeves and hoodies and sweatpants, and that's pretty much it. That's all I wear. And then, so this is more of a personal story. So the year I found out, I found my style per se, was the same year that I started casting. Right before I got shortlisted for the workshop, and right as I start my degree. So basically, I had I had one, like it was one of a bad relationship lah, like with an ex, ended really badly for me. So I went through that phase of like, young people, like emo phase. Then like to force yourself to glow up, you have to do something drastic. Cut your hair, or like go crazy with like spending your money, like something like that. So I decided to cut my hair, but I went further than that. I went and got a piercing. I got a piercing on my left earlobe, so that's how I started wearing earrings. Yeah, and I cut my hair. I started styling it. I started looking up, how do I style my hair? How do I do this? And at that point, one of the most popular ones was like the high, like the curry puff head, as my mom likes to call it. You sweep all your hair out, then you spray it, and then it hardens like the Burj Khalifa, like just, yeah. That's what I did. So a lot of people remember me for that, like this curry puff head. Yeah, like I would use like a crap ton of hairspray until the point that it actually like hardens. Like you cannot mess it up. You cannot, like, you can put something on it and it will be firm. Like it was actually pretty funny. Yeah, and then I drifted away from that, but I still wanted to keep it, right? So instead of it being like hardened like that, it became a bit more mild. I still sweep it up, but now it's not like 10 inches tall. It's like you can still see like the sweat back, but that's pretty much it. It's getting really harder and harder to manage my hair. I think my hair probably changed or something, But at the same time, I was also involved in a lot of club and society in college. And one of the clubs that I was most active in was Student Action Club. And just like the name suggests, they are very strict because they are a club all about discipline and being a good example to people around you. So it's kind of like back to high school where you cannot have your hair too long. You cannot have colored hair. You cannot have piercings. If you have earrings, take them off. For females, they wear the transparent stud. That's pretty much it. So I had to adhere to that, right? And it helped me, it helped me learn how to be disciplined, to be punctual, to manage things properly, to organize things, to talk to people and all of that. But when I finally became inactive because I wanted to take a break from all these events, it was really tiring, and focus on study and more casting, I dropped the idea of pursuing masters because I was like, I think I'm building something and I don't want to step away for like 1-2 years and come back because it would not wait for me, even though I know I can come back, but I would have lost so much. So I argued with my parents for like a long time. Just, I don't want to study masters anymore. I want to do this. Then I said, I will study masters, but not immediately. Someday down the road. I don't know when, but this is the career I want. And I realized that um school doesn't teach you everything about real life. There are some things that you need to go out and learn. Like the epiphany of that. Hence, I pursue this. So yeah, so that's my first hairstyle and how I came to found my style. And I think like the first style stuck with me for a long time. And the second style and then like there was a period where I wanted to leave my hair longer a bit. But I found it really hard to manage, right? It was hot. It was hard to apply a lot of hair. You had to apply a lot of hair products, so I didn't look good. It didn't look good on me. I didn't like it. So I went back to the short hair. Then COVID happened. COVID happened. Can't go to the barber. Cannot cut hair. I also got lazy, and I'm like, you know what? Let me give it a go once more. Let me try to grow my hair once more. And at that time, I was also like, I want to dye my hair. So I went for gray blue at that point. So it's like light blue, but you can see a shade of gray. So when it started fading, I had gray hair, which actually looked pretty nice. And I was having short hair at that time, so to style, and it looked pretty tidy. The pink hair was when we did PNPL season 2.
Mm-hmm.
That was interesting. So my hair wasn't as long as it is right now, but at that time, I made a bet on stream because I really loved the AGMT team, right, for Singapore. I really love these guys, and I said, if they get a chicken dinner, I will dye my hair pink. Lo and behold, they did the game after that. So I kept to my end to my end of the bargain. I needed a reason to dye my hair, and boom, I went pink. And yeah, pink was the one that stuck with me. And then my third hair color was purple, for a photo shoot. And yeah, now it faded to this, which I think is okay. It's not as bad as the pink one when it faded, right? It looked pretty disgusting. This one was still okay. And then at that point, I was like, my hair kept growing, and I was like, okay, I just need to bear through this process of having like awkward hair length. And now I think I found the sweet spot. So this is the evolution of my hair.
So is there a story to your current hairstyle?
Basically, I just want to. I feel like this suits me more. It's not to say that if I cut short hair, I don't feel like myself. I still feel like myself, but I think this is like the identity I want to go with, and I feel really comfortable being like this. It is not like I want to be the first long hair guy caster in Malaysia, or like the only. Like it's nothing to do with that. It's just it feels comfortable. I feel like I can be myself like this. I think like even my closest people the people closest to me thought that, oh, you're not gonna look good with long hair. My girlfriend thought that as well, but then I just ignored it. Like the stubborn guy, just like, I don't care what you say, I will do it. And now they were like, yeah, it actually looks not bad. So I was like, okay, I guess I'll stick to this. And my current style is now like more street style. I guess I have a side of me that I wanted to go more wild, like wear earrings out there, like wear like chains, dress like street style. But on a broadcast, you can't do that. You have to be professional, which I'm fine with. So when I did the photo shoot for Salty, which I think everyone saw, like me with a man bun and braided hairs, yeah, that was an experience because I never thought that I could be like that, So that was pretty fun. But it's probably the only time I would do that. I don't think I'll have a chance anymore. Well, at least not in the near future.
Well, maybe it's time to move away from the suit and tie. I'm just saying. Like be you. Like if that is how you feel good with the chains, with the street styles, with the man buns, why not?
In real life I can. Well, I mean, like behind the scenes I obviously can, but on broadcast no. I think on broadcast I still wanna. There's still an image to maintain, right? But I think I found a way around it. So instead of like thinking about, oh, I want to wear all these bling blings, why not I just dress more colorful? Dress something that pops, I have a burgundy suit, which is very, which like a lot of people remember. I have that, and like I bought like more flowery, more colorful clothes. Like people wear like dresses like just one plain color or like stripes, and I just want to stand out, right? I feel like, okay, I just want to be that guy, like that guy with the vibe, like long hair, long silky hair or something, like tied up, colorful, or like vibrant. So I got like colorful like clothes, which is slowly diverting away from my original color theme when I was in college, which is basically just monochrome colors, black, white, gray. Now there's a bit more color to what I wear. Yeah.
Right. I'd like to take a minute to say shout out to Arif. Arif, our new very secretive manager. Yeah, the Doge is King. Thank you for 500 stars, by the way, Arif. Thank you. Wow, that's very generous of you, Arif. Hopefully you're doing well. You haven't met Arif for a long time, right?
Which Arif?
Oh yeah, we have a lot of Arifs in esports. This is the Flava on the go Arif, same house. That
Lin
Arif.
Fei?
Yeah, Lin Fei. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, I saw Lin Fei. Yes. No. I saw Lin Fei Thursday. On Thursday.
What? What are you guys doing?
Was it Thursday? No. Sunday. Sorry, on Sunday. So 2 days ago.
What happened on Sunday? Oh, you wait a second. Was that Flava's wedding on Sunday?
No. He was at TGC studio and I was casting WCT. WCT pula. VCT.
VCT, yeah. WCT is someone else, but hang on. WCT is a construction company. That's totally different.
Yeah, so I was there. Yeah. It was during my break time. I was doing like the first and third series, so the second series went to 3 games. So I was like, yay, I get a long break time. So I was just walking around.
Right.
Chilling.
Okay. So now that we're in the topic about like right, let's talk about like the current stuff or in the past few years that you've done, basically your casting life now. So can you tell us like what for you, what's your most memorable casting moment?
Oh, my most memorable casting moment. Undoubtedly, the 40 minutes I shared with OD Pixel on broadcast.
Oh, that was
One
for
Esports
One
C-League.
Esports. Yes.
One Esports Dota 2 C-League. Grand Finals. We are supposed to do paneling. Me, Arthur, and Daniely. So OD Pixel and Fog were the casters. And Fog had, I think, like gastric or something. So he couldn't make it for the first 2 games. And we didn't know, right? We were paneling, and right before we were about to go in game, they were like, oh crap, Fog couldn't make it. Stomach problems. Like, we need someone to replace. We couldn't get Winter up in time. Like, Winter couldn't make it in time. And like, who else do we got? Let's throw HusKKiee out. And just without warning, suddenly I am to be casting with OD Pixel in 5 minutes. And I just looked at like my panelists and I was like, oh my god, how am I going to do this? So it happened, and yeah, it went well. It was like the best experience of my life. Like being able to actually, because I idolized him so much. The first time I saw him in the flesh was at PvP Esports when we went to Singapore. I saw him and that was the closest I ever got. I was like, oh my god, this is OD Pixel in the flesh. And a part of me was like, I've always wanted to work with OD Pixel, but I know that I can never work with him because, first of all, like I'm nowhere close, and second of all, even if I am there, we are both pay by play. It's impossible, but yet it happened. So it's like the best moment of my life. And I remember right after that, right after the broadcast, right after like that one game, the broadcast ended, and I received the offer for PNPL Season 2. Yeah.
Wow, that timeline.
That was the best moment of my life.
Man, that timeline, that was insane. But okay, but you mentioned something interesting though. So, I mean, as a customer myself, I know his style. He's a play-by-play guy. You're a play-by-play guy. You mentioned it yourself as well. So why not Arthur and OD Pixel, and why HusKKiee and OD Pixel?
So actually, there are 2 games which needed replacement. I did game 1 and Arthur did game 2.
Oh, okay.
Daniely, if there's a game 3, then it would be Daniely, but Fog came back in time. So that's pretty much it. I don't know. I don't make the like the production team decided to send me to the battlefield, and I did it. You know, I just because I'm not a color guy. Like I'm really bad at it. It's not that I don't like it. I just can't do it well enough, even though I know the game. But I had to, right? So I just channel whatever I know and just did my best to not like accidentally cross over to play by play. Just did what I could, set it up nicely for OD Pixel. Like that was my 40 minutes. Like if I blew that, I would be regretting it for the rest of my life. But I would say I am happy I didn't, like to me it was a success. To me, I think I did well enough, good enough to be happy with myself, to be proud of myself. Yeah.
Okay, let's go the other way around. What in your casting career do you feel that is your most how should I put it, blunderous moment?
Oh, well, the worst moment. I don't think there's necessarily like a worst the worst moment. There are obviously a lot of ups and downs. There are times where I feel like, is this for me? Like, do I really want to do this? But I think like the most down I was last year, right before I went on a hiatus for like 3 months. I think that was like the most down I've been. Like previously, I have a lot of doubts also. Like, oh, is this for me? Like, but I think the one thing that kept me going is that first of all, I really like doing this. I feel like it's a waste if I give up something that I like. A lot of people don't get to do their dream job, and here I am. And if I give up on it, it would be a waste. And also, like, I spent more than a decade wanting this, and if I give up now, it would not forgive myself, right? So that kept me going. And like, truth be told, I don't have the best online persona. Like, I'm a guy that stirred up a lot of like storms back then. So not really the most likable person. That's that. But last year really struck me, right? There's this whole like Merdeka thing that I got blasted. I still maintain my innocence. I don't think I did anything wrong. I can admit that. Well, I mean, since we're on this topic, I think I give some context. So I made a crude joke about Merdeka. A friend took it the wrong way, got offended, and decided to call me out on Facebook. But the backstory is, a lot of people don't ask me about the backstory, and I'm not trying to use this to clear my name, but it's just that there's more to that. There's more to that, right? And basically, I maintain my innocence because I feel like I didn't have the intention to offend anyone, and if I did, I already apologized. It's just more of like the person who decided to call me out on social media didn't respect me enough to not do it. So the person approached me and said, I feel like you're disrespecting me and all that, which is the first step, like, for me is okay. I understand. How can we work around this? I can remove it if you want. But the thing is, the approach was not correct for me, or at least like from what I see, it was correct from that person. She came in a very confrontational manner in the middle of the night, and I didn't want to respond because I didn't want to fight with anyone before bedtime. So my thought was I would wait until the next day when we clear our heads, then I'll have the civil conversation. Right? I'm willing to listen. But the person kept like stalking my online activity, trying to prompt me, and I just didn't want to deal with it. So I went to bed. And because I went to bed and I didn't respond, she took it as me refusing to respond, and the rest is history. I got caught a racist online. It went viral, and I had no way to defend myself, social media stuff. That was one. And then the other thing was like, I talked to a friend. We caught up, and then he was talking to me about how he sees me and how like my portrayal might have costed me some things. How, my conduct, my image, and all that. Gave me a lecture that I think I really needed to hear, even though I don't like hearing it, but I needed to hear it. I needed to admit that I was wrong. And after that, I just decided that, okay, I think I needed to seek external help. I look for I seek counseling, still undergoing that. 4 months in, went on a total social media hiatus. I was still on Twitter and Instagram to keep up with news, but I was totally off Facebook. Like, I didn't tell anyone about it, so a lot of people thought I blocked them or something, but I didn't. I didn't tell anyone. I just deactivated my account, like, so that I can focus on what is at hand. And I spent the 3 months just going to counseling and just really thinking really hard about how it's going to affect me, wanting to be a better person, really fearing that if I keep on going down the same path I would lose everything. And it wouldn't be because of anyone else. It would be because of myself. And that would be the most unforgiving thing that would have ever happened to me. Yeah, so went through all of that and came back this year with a new resolution. You know, made not really a declaration, but a post that I shared my process with everyone. Made a promise to everyone that I intend to keep, and I feel like I'm keeping it well up till now. I hope, but that's where I am right now. Still trying to be better. Still trying to work on myself. Yeah, so that's the lowest point of my life. Oh, my career.
So what do you think led you to being there in the first place?
Being at the bottom, you
Be,
mean?
being at um yeah, being at the you said that some of the things that happen is like because you probably behave the way that you felt you shouldn't be on social media or that. What led
Yeah.
you to that?
Oh, you mean my behavior?
Yeah.
Um. Okay. So hold on.
While you take a sip,
Sorry.
I'd like to shout out to Mickey, of course, again from Singapore, and 1,000 stars. Actually, it's a total of 2,000 stars now. So he's buying dinner. Basically, just came back home and want a nap because he got a shoutcasting date later tonight. All the best, Husky. Stay strong. So he's giving you the stay strong. Yeah.
Thank you.
There you
Thank
go.
you. Okay. So what let me down? This was. Okay, I don't think I'm calling out anyone's name. I don't think I'm name dropping or anything, but so I was I follow a lot of like news, like politics and all, like news and all, like world events. So I think it foster a mindset of like there's so much unfairness in the world. There's so much things wrong, and I want to make a change. I want to be the one that sees the problem and calls it out. And I was just I looked up to some people around me, some casters, some figures around me that who do the same. And I thought that being this way um makes you strong, makes you respected. And I think in a way it probably does. I don't know, right? Because I'm past that stage. But at that point in time, I feel like we need to fight for what's right for us, what's right for the people around us. So I was really vocal about things, and I was very driven by emotion. So a lot of things I say are probably based off of emotion rather than like rational thinking. And I feel mad, and then I just say it out loud and all of that. So I feel like I burned some bridges with the people who probably cared for me the most. People I've worked with who really like took care of me, who really like gave me what I have today, and my conduct was what probably led to like a sour relationship up to today. And it's something that I regret a lot up till now. But I think that's the mindset that I went in with, just wanting to be I don't necessarily want to be right, but I want things to be right. And I just stuck to that, like facts don't care about your feelings. And sure, it's true, but maybe if I worded it properly, maybe something shouldn't have been said, like all of that. I didn't really care about that. I just, if you want to start a fight, like let's go, let's fight, and I'll beat you, something like that. Yeah, so that's how it came about. And throughout the year, obviously there were some humbling experience, but I think it never really went away. I kept telling myself I want to work on this. I want to work on this. I want to be the person that isn't like disrespectful to everyone. Like someone, I wanted to be respected and loved, but I also wanted to be vocal and loud, which doesn't really work, like that. Uh, and I didn't realize that until the talk I had with my friend right before my hiatus. He told me that, and it really hit me hard. But when I thought of like working on it before all of the hiatus happened, I thought I was doing a good job. But it was more of like, I want to, but am I doing it right? And evidently I wasn't. So fast forward that the talk happened, I went on a break, went to counseling, and here I am. I think I have a bit more control of how I think, how I talk, and I just know that like what is worth prioritizing on, what is just something like what isn't worth it. Like is this my fight to begin with? Is this something that I should throw away everything I have for? Am I ready to live that life of being like the person who talks about everything? I don't think I am yet, and I don't think I ever will be because this is what I want. And I don't want to give up what I have. So also like big props to my counselor for really like uh guiding me, I think, letting me understand how I think. And last week, like 3 months, like 9 sessions after 9 sessions of counseling, she finally acknowledged that there's improvement, which I didn't know lah. But so like that's a very good moment for me, because I didn't know how I was doing. So yeah, that's that. So that's how and that's how it changed over time.
Do you think it would have been different if you were not someone who's a face of a broadcast?
I honestly think so. I think up to today, I think so. I think like if I'm not someone who is constantly monitored, someone who has an image to keep, someone that people looked up to and people don't want being like a negative influence, I would definitely still be who I am. Because there's no repercussions, right? There's no consequences. I can say whatever I want. I can flame whoever I want. I can be as toxic as I want. You can ban me. You can do everything, but you're not gonna hurt me in real life. Nothing is on the line for me. If it wasn't for this, then there's nothing on the line. So I don't have anything to lose. But now I have everything to lose. So in a way, you would say that I'm bounded by my career and all. But truth be told, if right now I'm not doing this, if like let's say I move on from this to other stuff, I wouldn't change a thing, because I have gone through so much that it shaped me to who I am today. So whoever I was previously is not going to come back, which I think is a good thing.
Cool. Okay. So speaking about like just now like what you mentioned, if you weren't doing casting, right, what would you be doing?
If I wasn't doing casting, actually I already had a plan for that. So before I got into the workshop, my plan was I would graduate, I would go for masters, or like even if I don't go for masters, I would go work in a radio station. It's either I go to Astro, I would go for Fly or SFM as a broadcaster or as a DJ, or I go into journalism, work under Rage for the Star, investigative journalism. That's what those were the two things that I had in mind, but obviously it didn't happen because casting happened. So yeah, there's just like too many dreams, but you can only achieve so much. You can only have time for so much, and I chose the one that I wanted since I was a child.
Right. And what's next for you after casting? How long are you going to do this?
Well, I give myself until I'm 30, so that's 5 more years from now. The day that I stop would be the day that I go into production, esports production, content creation, something I really am really passionate about, and I just love the process of producing a show. That's what I will go into. That content creation, maybe streaming, but streaming is more of an afterthought. If I cannot build that platform up, then yes, production. Um, Career-wise, right now it's focusing on the titles that I have. Valorant, Wild Rift, Free Fire on the side, and just being the best that I can, being the best version of myself, being as good as I can in terms of a caster, and just making it as far as I possibly can. Just interacting with people online, just making sure that like realigning my priorities is less about me wanting to be respected now. Like I don't want to demand respect. I feel like it was very naive of me to think that way. So now it's more of I just focus on myself. I just do what I can, help the people around me, inspire those if possible, constantly improve, and just know that I have made good progress and I want to continue making progress. So it's just all the way from here on out.
But do you have like, as a caster, do you have like a goal? Have you reached the goal?
Yeah, so it's interesting because I actually had this conversation with a friend yesterday. He asked me if I have achieved success, and I said no, I haven't. My definition of success is being able to go to reach a destination of what I currently am passionate and focusing on right now. So right now is Wild Rift and Valorant, right? Obviously, the end goal would be like for Valorant would be like Masters or Champions or like, but before that, it has to be regionals. For Wild Rift, it's the same. Before like Horizon Cup or like whatever name it's going to be under, before the World Championship, it has to be regionals, has to be C champs, and that's where I want to start off. And sure, like it's like a toned down goal from like my ultimate wish of being a TI or Worlds, but one step at a time. So right now is regionals first. If I can make it to regionals, at least it proves that I'm on the right track. You know, I've improved enough. I'm good enough to be that. Then I can aim higher. You know, I can't shoot for the stars if you cannot even reach the moon. That's what that's so I haven't really achieved success. And like for those who think that, oh, but I've done so many things, like why am I like not satisfied? Why am I looking down on my achievements? I would say that I've achieved a lot of things that people might not have been able to do. I've been to the first World Championship for Mobile Legends to debut my Mobile Legends class. I've done one esports, you know, Dota. I've been on TI8 Southeast Asia qualifiers. I've done all of this, which are things that I'm really proud of. But I don't feel satisfied. I don't feel like I don't feel like I am in the zone that I want to be yet. Hence, they are milestones in my life. They are milestones that got me to where I am right now. But success in the present time for me is Valorant and Wild Rift from the regional, and it starts at the regional stage. So, by definition, I haven't achieved success yet. But if you take like the present, you put the present aside, then yes, I have achieved successes in my life.
Okay, so this is where we're gonna go a little bit maybe on the interesting conversation side. So
Okay.
be it to go to like a world stage, right, of whichever game title that you just mentioned earlier, whether it's Valorant, Wild Rift, or whichever. Especially when it comes to English cast, there's always a priority for Angmo, for
Right.
Westerners, for Caucasians. What's your take on this? And yeah, what's your take on this?
I think it's inevitable, since, you know, well, it's nothing against Western talents, right? Because they're also amazing. I think like Western talents, generally, we have to look at what people are used to watching on English broadcasts. It's Westerners and it's their first language, so their command of the language is better than a lot of us. And obviously, I think it's also like an accent thing. Like accent to me is the least important thing out of everything in commentary. But you know, to the audience, they want something that is good to listen through to. It's like we listen to a radio broadcast. Someone with the golden voice is someone with a deep bass in his voice, something like that, right? It's just people perception, and I think that one way to break it is, and I think that Southeast Asia talents are doing good to break that stereotype. You know, we are picking up on accents. We are like learning it, or even like some of us, and some people who grew up in a more westernized background already have accent. But again, accent aside, we are proving that, you know, hard work does pay off, right? We learn the game, we learn to do it right, we learn to do it well, we add our flair to it. It demonstrates like diversity. It demonstrates like how we have our own culture, but we are also able to apply that to a broader audience. And sure, at the end of the day, getting there is insanely difficult. Very less Southeast Asians have made it to the world stage. Well, Winter is one of them, TI all the way. But look at how he got there, right? Doesn't have the best English accent. Because of primarily Chinese background. His English wasn't really that good when he first started. But hey, what got him there? His knowledge. That is a big testament of, you know, accent isn't everything. So even though like the Western talents get the big stages, and sure, it might seem unfair, but I truly believe that we can get there, and we are slowly building the ecosystem for it. We are slowly being able to acclimate ourselves and just treat this as something that motivates us to grow and look past the whole unfairness. Even if it exists, I don't think it is what's going to stop us. And if it does, then we just keep on going. Because at the end of the day, even if I don't get to the world stage in this lifetime, if I feel like I've done enough, if I feel like I'm able to make an impact and leave a legacy, then I've done my job. So the whole comparison of Western to Eastern audience, talents, I think I've gone past that phase of comparing it. To me, it's just I'll do my best and see where it takes me.
So in order for you to achieve those dreams or those goals, do you have like something that you really focus on? For example, I know some of our peers, they really focus on uh, the the command of language itself. Some really focus on entertainment. Do you personally have something that you focus on?
I think like language wise, I am fine. I'm like trying to learn the basics. I'm trying to start from the basics all over again. So I'm trying to learn not like command of the language, but more like how to form sentences, cadence, tone, pitch, and all of that, all the nitty gritty stuff. But at the same time, I'm also focusing on engaging with the right people, engaging with people on the right platform for the games, learning about the game, but also learning about the people behind the games, and just making sure that I'm consistent with the work I do. Throughout the entire VCT, I have been updating everything on Twitter as soon as I can, just to get everything out. Having conversations with people, and just putting aside the whole mentality of I need 10,000 people to see this. I don't need 10,000 people to see this. I just need to be consistent. People will see it, and it will translate into something someday, somewhere down the road. But I need to discipline myself to do it. I need to discipline myself to do prep for the cast, on upcoming cast. Do research on the team. Do research on the meta. Do research on what is popular here and there. Watch other regions. Take inspiration from that. Watch other talents. Learn from them as well. Just a lot of effort, a lot of work. It is tiring, but I put my mind into it, and I am determined to do it until the very end. Like, this is the year to push, and I will just go all out. Like, it can be tiring, but I believe that it will be worth it.
Honestly,
So that's what I'm focused on.
I do recognize that as well. I see you putting a lot of effort. Like, you write all those short things of what happens in VCTs in other countries as well. Like, you're really keeping up to date. I think at this point of time, you're probably like the most exposed caster when it comes to VCT, like, globally. I don't know, at least from my personal
Well, not
view.
globally. I think MISG, yes, but globally, no. I don't think globally I'm.
Because you look at other regions, and like you not only look at like Southeast Asia, like you look across generally. So that's impressive.
Yeah, it's very tough. Like, it's impossible to follow all the games. Sometimes I have to look at highlights. Sometimes I have to look at like the overall results in general. It's very hard to look at every game, right? Because they all happen simultaneously. And people need sleep. So that's like, there's no way I can follow every game, but I try to follow as closely as I can. With MISG at the forefront, because this is my region. I want to be one of the person that drives my region forward. I don't know how much I can do it, but I want to be at least try. And I think I found like a new form of satisfaction doing so as well. Like, it feels really good knowing a lot of things. It feels really good being knowledgeable and being passionate about a title, and you just cannot stop watching and following it. I haven't felt that for like years, and now that I feel it again, it feels really good. And I think that's also what keeps me going.
Man, but yeah, I guess what you just mentioned is really a lot of the hard work that a lot of people don't see that goes behind the scenes for casters. A lot of people just think that, oh, you cast by just turning on the camera, you're turning on the mic, and then you just talk. But there's a lot more work behind it. What else do you do?
Well, I work part-time for AFK Gaming. Like, I do like interviews, clips, and then like they publish it. Yeah, that's my part-time thing. But other than that, no, nothing much. Just casting, and that I plan to stream, but I cannot discipline myself to stream because I am occupied with casting. So, like, I came to terms that there's only so much I can do, and I have to figure out which one is more important to me. And right now it's casting and nothing else. So yeah, that's that. Well, when I'm free, I play games. That's basically my daily life.
Yeah, I guess sometimes, well, we can't only look at games every day as a work. We also need like some room to let go. So we sometimes look at games. Oh, I just want to have a casual game, not really thinking too much about it. Just enjoy the game as it is. Yeah, but for AFK
Yeah,
gaming, I wanted to ask, like, how do you get into it, and tell a little bit more about what you do and how's it been going for you?
Well, so it's actually very interesting. So someone from AFK Gaming decided to approach me to do a podcast about, I think, Wild Rift scene in Southeast Asia. I went on the podcast, and after that, not long after, they came back with a job offer, a potential job offer. It's just off of that one podcast, and I accepted it. So far, it's been great. Like I said, I do like interviews, interviews. Then I send it over. They edit it, they splice it up, then it becomes like its own published video content on their Facebook page. It's been going well so far. I do find challenges. Like, it's not easy to put content. It's not easy to find talking points every now and then. But other than that, I take it as a challenge. I think the biggest challenge is that I'm doing a title that I am not as invested as I am. So I'm invested in Wild Rift and Valorant, but my work scope is primarily Mobile Legends. So it really forces me to be in tune with what is going on, to really rely on the people and the sources around me to keep me up to speed. But other than that, it allows me to learn how to host better. It allows me how to like ask the questions, have a good conversation, find talking points and all of that. So everything has been good.
Right. Who's your any interesting segments or guests that you've had on AFK so far?
Well, I think all guests are interesting, equally interesting. I had Gideon, my very first guest. I just finished the recording with him just now as well. So yeah, it's gonna be released pretty soon. I had Lafel, I had Abstract and Aries from Singapore. I had Tash Bunny. I had like Red Queen, I remember. Who else did I get? I think I got like I'm sorry, I don't even remember what I got AJ. Yeah, I also had AJ. I had Flava. I had Kelvin Pang, former Orange Esports general manager. Yeah, so I would say all of them are super interesting.
Right.
And I think it also allows me to explore a lot of different topics. Like, it's not just esports, not just about the game. It's about the puzzle pieces behind the game, government and esports. Like organization. How do you manage a team and all of that? Yeah.
Tell us a fun fact that you have learned throughout. Sounds very interesting to know.
A fun fact I've learned from the people I interviewed.
Yeah.
Okay, so AJ doesn't listen to music.
Wait, what?
Yeah, he doesn't listen to music or to
Wow.
much music. So
But
yeah, because I asked him what genre he likes, he doesn't give me an answer.
but he plays music like his stream, like music is a big part of his stream, and he doesn't listen to music.
But he can't play the instrument. So there's that. Like, AJ doesn't play music. Lafel's favorite donut brand is Krispy Kreme. I asked him if I throw him onto an island and he can only eat items, he said he will bring 3 boxes of Krispy Kreme and he would die there a happy man.
Okay, then so the next time I know, if I see him, I'll just bring him a box of Krispy Kreme. I think he'll be pretty happy with that.
So he lost a bet one time, and then to keep his end of the bargain, he bought like 1,000 or 800 donuts. So he spent like 1,000 ringgit or something. It's insane. Yeah, and yeah, so that's that. That's a fun fact about Lafel.
Interesting. By the way, we have Mikos in the chat, by the way, so he's enjoying the show today, enjoying the chat. Right.
What's up, Mikos?
Yeah. Pretty sure you guys met recently at a photo shoot. Unfortunately, I wasn't there because I have other.
You left
stuff.
early or something, right?
Yeah, I came early. I left early. I came in the morning because in the afternoon I had a gig. So, and the fun fact is that for me, that gig was cancelled in the afternoon. And I was like, oh man, I was looking like everyone's stories, Insta stories, see, everyone's gathering, having a good time together. But I'm like,
could have went dinner together.
I know, right? I could have been there. And actually, what made my gig cancel? It wasn't anyone's fault, lah. It was a gig that involved Myanmar teams. So majority of the teams were from Myanmar, and that day, I think generally we know that Myanmar has some
The
political,
coup, right?
yeah, they have that thing going on. So the
Yeah.
military took over the internet and shut down the country's internet for the day. The day where we had
Oof.
that tournament.
Yeah, unlucky. So did they replay everything after that?
Yeah,
Or is
so
it like
somehow the internet was restored the next day. And they basically played double the matches. So 2 days matches squished into one whole day, and like
oh god.
it was a very long day. Yeah,
That was gruesome. Yeah.
yeah. So if not, I would have been there. Like by the time we know
We
that
we
the internet is gone, like it was just too late for me.
we went for a walk in me and Contra went for a walk in a pavilion Bukit Jalil because
That's
that's where the studio is. Right, yeah, then like we went for dinner. It's a very good dinner place there. Like next time we should go. It's really really good. They have very good tom yum, very good pork broth soup. But yeah, someday.
someday. You
I was actually telling you.
yeah. We're talking about ramen
I was actually
before
telling
the show start.
right. I wanted to ask you if you're free later for dinner, but it seems like you might have something going on, right?
Yeah, we could probably do it within this week. We'll come back to that. Yeah,
Yeah, we'll come. Yeah, okay.
We'll do the PM thing. But you're like what? You're like in Balakong, was it? Sorry if I got it wrong.
Sri Kembangan.
Sri Kembangan, yes. I remember it's that side of the world.
That's the other world. Yes.
That's like forever for you to, like, if you were to meet somewhere in the middle, right?
It's yeah. Well, if it's at the place that I was talking about, then yeah, 30 minutes. You know, I'm used to it. Everything is 30 minutes for me.
That's your radius. But Miko said after WCS, but because he's casting from home.
Yeah, I'm casting from home.
Yeah, and
I'm
by
not.
the time
I don't have
WCS over,
I don't have the PM caster privilege. You know, I don't get to do it from the studio. No, I'm just kidding.
well,
But
it has its pros and cons.
yeah, you better. Yeah, I mean, you guys, please stay safe out there. We have way too many cases. Like
Yeah.
way too many cases. It's actually insane. So there's pros and cons. But
Yeah, it's insane.
I'm not complaining. I'm actually not complaining. I think end of the day it's more of like we get an opportunity, we make the best out of it. You know.
Oh, I think because is in Sri Kembang. He's that side of the world. He's yeah. If he's in KL, he's in that side of the world. Like that's why he says home near. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, because it's Sri Kembangan. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Somewhere.
We can meet somewhere here.
Yeah, but I hope we have enough time though. If it's after the show, I mean, we don't know what time it will end.
Depends on like. Wait, do you guys have like whether you are like first set or second set?
So we don't have like the English arrangement. So ours is like whoever casts will cast the whole day, but we have
God, okay, yeah.
But we have the panelist segment. So you know how it works, right? When during the break, then it throws to the panel. So the caster just casts that 20-minute game.
For us, we don't have panelists or hosts, but we have 2 sets of casters per day.
So assuming you're going to also cover the draft, maybe the post game, whereas for BM it's like the draft or post game probably goes to the panelists. Yeah,
so like each caster does like 2 best of 3s during the group stage, and then like after the first 2 best of 3, the second set comes in and does the third and fourth.
Because he's in Balakong, by the way, so that's not too far from
pretty
you.
Close to me. Pretty close to me. Yeah. Balakong is pretty close. Contra used to live there.
Yes.
Used to.
Yes. I think that's his mom's place still. He goes back there from time to time.
Yeah, his family place. Yeah.
Right. But so how about you? Mom, dad, everyone's in KL now, I think?
No, my dad, my 2 brothers are in KL. My mom is actually visiting this Friday, but she's living in my hometown. My sister is about to be sent to Kuantan private school, the Chinese independent school, because she just turned 13, so high school time for her.
So is it like my sister, you and then your sister?
No, me, my 2 brothers. So that's me. The first younger brother is 3 years younger. Second one is 4 years younger. My sister is 12 years younger than me. So we are the same zodiac sign.
Oh.
Yeah. One cycle, as they call it.
Right. So what are they doing?
Both my sister is obviously studying, gonna be sent to independent school, starting this year for high school. Yeah, my mom is retiring this year as well. She's retiring on her birthday.
That's how it works, right? Like if you're a teacher, like you have a cutoff point that is like 55 or
Like,
60.
depends on whether you want to like extend or not. My mom decided that she's taught enough, spent her whole life teaching people. It's time to enjoy. Like, she already saw 3 of us graduate.
What are your brothers
Like, if you
doing?
wait so much, studying, one is studying like TESOL, like English as second language, bachelor in foundation, like bachelor of English as second language. And then the other one is like also English, basically English, English studies. So my mom wants them to like study English because they don't really know what to do in the future.
You know what?
So like,
That contradicts with your origin story when you say that everyone in hometown doesn't read English and now the two kids are studying like
no,
TESOL.
because only my family, only me and my siblings
Right.
focus on that. Yeah. So like my parents also found it pretty interesting that their children who we don't converse in English at home. We spoke Mandarin, and we watch English show, and we all learn English that way. It's pretty magical. My sister has an accent in English.
Where did that come from?
YouTube videos,
Wow.
which is pretty insane. Yeah. So special family, I suppose, but it's only our family. Like everyone else is Chinese. It's Chinese all the way.
Right. Because he's asking, Husky, you want to know something? Of course. Of course. Not only him, I want to know what Mikos has in mind. So I'm still waiting for him to respond. I think we're all curious right now. Yeah.
Yep.
But okay, while we wait for Mikos to respond, let's talk a little bit about the current scene and your views about it. Okay, so
Oh boy. Okay.
yeah, here we go. We're gonna pick your thoughts about it. So what are your thoughts about new casters coming into the scene? I'm not saying in particularly whoever, but I'm just saying in general. Like, what are your thoughts? Do you think that do they share the same passion? Are they up to the bar that you think or your observation is at, or what could be done better, or things like that?
I think I'm definitely not a judge to see like how, like if they are up to my par, but I would say that I've always been saying this. I love it when there are new faces. I always enjoy new talents. I think it's one way to move forward. It's one way to keep things going. Because if we have new talents, we also get motivated, right? Because like, oh, there's competition. Now, even though we don't see it as a competition, but there's always like that driving force, right, to keep you going. Then obviously, new talent means that there's new possibilities. There's more potential, especially like when we do need more talents. So that's a good thing, 100%. Always great to have new people. It's like a company. You always want to have new people. Like that kind of thing. But I think in regards to whether they share the same passion, I would say perhaps some do and some don't. Again, I actually don't follow like who are the new people. Like I'm like very fixated on like what I currently am doing. It's not like I'm trying to be selfish and disregard other people. It's more like right now I'm just focusing on myself, right? But ultimately, I hope that people who join this don't have the mindset of like, I want to come here for the money. I think it's not the right place to be. And the reason I say that is there's so much things that goes on behind the scenes, right? People like you have to give a lot to get what you want. And contrary to like a proper 9 to 5 job that gives you a salary, this one isn't it, right? This one isn't like, we shouldn't come here to chase money. I think a lot of us do esports or at least for me, like I have the mindset of like I do it because I love it, and you have to love it to be able to keep doing this, because this it's not easy, right? Then if people come in just for the money, it really undermines the efforts of those who really do it for the love of it, who really do it because they want to see things improve. And it also like undercuts people who are talented. So I hope that people don't come in just for the money itself. I hope that if you do it, you sincerely love it. And if you sincerely love it, I hope that you put in the effort needed, and just know that the harsh truth is that not everyone can make it. But it doesn't mean that you shouldn't try. Because I think the best part is that if you feel like you couldn't do it, you can exit and come back on a later date. No one is stopping you from leaving, and no one is stopping you from coming back. I think that's the best part. But if you decide to do it, then just know that there is going to be sacrifices. You have to give a lot of you, and don't always expect that you want to get something in return. Oh my goodness, can you guys hear that?
Yeah. Is that
Jesus
rain
Christ,
or
it's
something?
oh, hold on, I think it is. Give me a sec.
There you go. Mango Dango tiba-tiba macam, very interested with this topic. And I have a follow-up question to that. So you stay tuned nanti lah. Okay, we're back.
Oh, horrible rain.
Oh,
Like,
really?
I feel it's the kind of rain that might cause the flood again. That kind of rain. Is it not raining at your place?
I can hear some raining sound, but because I'm in the room, so I can't really see how bad it is.
Okay, it's really bad on my end. Okay, yeah. So I hope that back to what we're talking about. I hope that people who do it, they just know that it's a long journey. It's a long process. But there are people around that are willing to help. We all are here to help each other. So that's the second part of the question. The third part is like, are they up to par, right? I don't think I'm in the right place to judge whether they're up to par or not. It's more of like, as long as they are willing to improve, as long as improvement and growth is always a good thing. I think people have the misconception of like, oh, if I improve, I have to like, it has to be super drastic, But casting is like art. It's like drawing. It takes a lot of time. So if you want to look for those like one night improvement, it is not going to happen. It really comes down to the effort, the practice you're going to put in, and just the same thing about being hardworking and all. Yeah. So as long as there's improvement, that's good. As long as they're willing to improve, that's good enough. It has to come from like having the right mindset, willing to put in the effort and willing to sacrifice it all, and just knowing that it might not be for everyone. And if you do it, please do it properly and with love. Yeah, that's the best I can say. I guess.
Right. Okay. So
It feels like my
obviously,
room.
it feels like your room is going to
It
get
feels like there's
flooded.
an earthquake. It feels like there's an earthquake. Like I hear all this like my doors. Hold on. Oh my goodness.
There you go. Checking the weather.
Give me a sec.
Yeah. So you gotta give it a second. Yeah. I mean, my place pun tengah hujan, but I don't think it's that bad. I think macam regular rain je. And yes, because this weekend buat AOV. And nasib baik lah I play AOV since dia mula-mula keluar lah kan. It's just that I need to like banyak-banyak study lah untuk catch up with the current meta. So I've been spending a lot of time sebenarnya buat AOV tu. Studying AOV myself. Yeah. So dia macam like, what was the timeline like? Seminggu lebih. So yep, up to the challenge. Let's go. Kalau tak macam mana nak pick up AOV with Mikos kan? Welcome back. Is the
We
house
had to close
flooded
all
yet?
the doors. We had to close all the doors because they're all like banging each other. So yeah.
Right. Okay. That doesn't sound right, but that's okay. Anyway, all right. So yeah. Okay. So I wanted to get to this question. Right. So over the years you've casted with a lot of people. So who, in your personal opinion, is the best person to cast with and why?
Oh my god, who is the best person to cast with?
I'm gonna put you out there. You gotta name me
Team
one, your best favorite and why. What makes the person the best favorite?
Gideon.
Alright, why?
Hands down, 100% Gideon. And I can easily justify this. First of all, on the English side, I think he is the absolute best color caster we have in Malaysia for English. Second of all, he is very, very passionate. As passionate as I am, maybe more than me. But I think we both want the same thing. That because both of us, I think, are like probably the only one on the English side that does this full time, or at least like they started doing this full time on a very early stage. He dropped out of college. I gave up everything for this. Like when I decided to go full time, I had nothing with me. It was really like a leap of faith. So we both are on the same page on like what the art of casting is like, how far we want to go with this, how do we want to improve, and we catch up with each other every once in a while with each other. That's on a personal level. Other than being like the best color caster I've ever worked with, he's also very hardworking. If you give him a game and obviously like you pay him good enough, like there's opportunities and all, like yeah, career wise, and he puts his effort into it, you are not going to have any problems because he will give you feedback. He is willing to help you grow together with him, and on the broadcast, he always makes sure to give his 100%. I think that's one of the best things for him, and it's a very invaluable asset when it comes to color caster. There are so much play-by-play casters, and play-by-play it kind of feels like the easier thing to go into, right? You don't have to go to too much like detail, not too much analysis. Good play-by-play casters might be harder to come by, but good color casters are an exquisite species, and I think he is that person that if I can spend the rest of my career casting with, I would pick him.
I think I can vouch for that as well because I did PMPL season 1 with him back in the day. Totally can vouch with that. I do think that whatever that you mentioned, as a friend he's good. As someone at the desk he's good. We did a tri-cast together. We did a duo cast together at some point in PMPL season 1, and he's very balanced. He can bounce things off with you very well. He catches you, and he's one thing I think that that he's very very good at is also passing the ball. Like he has a way of passing the ball somehow that you definitely can continue from. Like it will be a continuation somehow.
Yeah, I think that's again a very good quality of him. He has very strong fundamentals. I think that's one of the best ways to go about it, and you can really see how much effort he's put into this just based off of listening to him. I think he has done it. He has really like polished up all the basics, and he's ready to go to the next level, which he is already making progress as of now.
Now I'm really interested to get him on the next podcast to ask him the same question: who he feels is his number one choice.
Honestly, like, well, I don't really mind if it's not me. I don't really mind not being anyone's first choice because I think at the end of the day, that is just a preference, right? It's just a personal preference for people. Doesn't say much about what I'm capable of, and I believe that if we are doing things right, if we are doing a good job, then at the end of the day, we are going to end up on the same broadcast, on the same stage, and if it is the big stage, then we will be working with the best of the best. So, yeah.
Yeah, I talked about this topic with Because before as well, and he's vouching for it as well in the comments. He said that Gideon has the best stories, the best reference on desk. So he has a pleasant experience as well, I would say. So I think and frankly speaking, a few people also told me the same thing as well. So well, can't be wrong at this point. Definitely,
Mhm.
even my personal experience as well. And talking about personal experiences, I I really enjoyed our time at season 2, especially PMPL season 2, when it was the all boys desk. I think that was
Yeah.
the funniest, most insane cast that I've ever had, especially as a tri-cast.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like that
And
was
that
the
was, I think, one of the best experience ever. I think the entire PMPL season 2. Now that I'm not doing Pop Duo anymore, I'm gonna say this: season 2 was the best season out of all the seasons. I think experience-wise, for the viewers, for the talents, and just generally, I think the entire atmosphere. Season 2 was the best, hands down. And I think that moment that we shared was the most unforgettable one. Even though, like, I think like the day after that, you guys got into trouble and I didn't, but it was worth it.
not me. I wasn't. I
Oh,
wasn't.
not you as well.
No,
Okay, so
no,
we are
no.
both free.
I'm free.
The one who instigated the conversation was the one who got into trouble, right?
Yeah, because I became the
And then
host
he
after that.
and then he dragged Contra down with him. Yeah, so those two guys got into trouble. And you went to host, and I wasn't casting the day that day before, so I came to the studio and I was like, "Oh, you guys got scope? What happened?"
Yeah, that was like the most in BM we call it muscle eye moment that we had on the broadcast desk. That was like
I
crazy.
wonder if you can still find that broadcast. No, right?
Ah,
I
oh,
think
I
I
actually
think
tried to, but no, because why? It was Facebook exclusive, and all live streams on Facebook gone,
they
deleted
get what? Yeah,
by
I should have.
Facebook.
We
Yeah.
should have clipped that moment. No, we should have saved that. That
I
was
think
like
we
the.
have it somewhere. I'm not too sure, or maybe
Do
not
we have
actually.
it? I know I don't, which is sad.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't expect Facebook to wipe out everything, right? We thought it would be there forever and we can refer to it again. But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, season 2 was really good. I mean, truth to be told, production value and all that. I think no, I think everyone can argue about that. But yeah, it is what it is. Like, if only it wasn't Facebook exclusive, then it would have been a co-stream on YouTube and it would still be somewhere that we can search. But yeah, it is what it is.
Hmm.
Yeah. But that's about the past though. So let's talk about like future plans for you. What's next for HusKKiee?
Well, it's going to sound very boring, but it's casting all the way. It's all the way until I achieve what I wanted to achieve. Yeah, just that. Probably like content creation on the side, but again, I'm not disciplined enough to do content creation yet.
But you have to do it with AFK now that it's a job.
Yeah, but I wanted to do it like, well, true. I wanted to do it like for myself also, but the for myself part is something that I haven't been able to do, you know.
Okay, let's theorize that. So if you were to do your own content, like what would it be?
It's your usual like gaming compilations, because like I want to put my video editing skills to use, because I've learned that before. Other than that, probably like something like this podcast, right? Like to bring life to the people behind the scenes. Yeah, basically that. Trying to explore things like game review and stuff, like doing game review videos, but those are all up in the air. Streaming is always an option.
Mm. So what's stopping you from doing all that?
I'm not disciplined enough, and again, I think like my priority right now is just casting. So I made the decision to be like, since I want to do casting, I might as well go all out. We can put some like the other things aside first and just go all out for this, achieve the best result that I can.
Right. Uh because he's saying his praying HusKKiee will be on icons this year.
Being
On
on what?
yeah, on icons. Icons? Okay. I also
Icons.
figuring that out. Like icons? I said icon
Is that
series?
I thought like the is replacing icons.
Yeah.
Wait,
I
am I missing something?
yeah, I don't know. I'm missing something as well. So let's wait for
No.
his explanation. Yeah. But okay, so all right, so it's going to be pretty straightforward for you, like moving forward. No, like I want to climb the Mount Everest, or I want to spacewalk and all that. So no big stuff so far. But
Well,
what are your hobbies like? Who's HusKKiee outside of the gaming world? Like, do you do stuff that's outside of content, casting, gaming, esports? Yeah,
okay. Okay. If we put gaming aside,
mm,
then
all that aside.
well, I like to listen to music. I like to
Yeah.
write lyrics. Primarily like rap lyrics, because I grew up with rap and hip hop. Well, I like to travel around and eat. I like to watch like random videos on YouTube. I like to learn about things going on around the world, like news, documentaries, investigative journalism, crime, all of that. I like to play the piano, but my piano isn't here with me, so I cannot play that. That's pretty much the bulk of what I do, if I don't include gaming.
Now that you mentioned about music, I mean, I've seen your stuff. You posted some stuff like the rap stuff. Like recently, the one that you did the duet with this
Oh, the
with this girl.
TikTok one. Yeah,
Yeah, the TikTok one. It was really good. And besides that as well, before that, I've seen your other musical stuff also. So, uh, have you not thought of like that could be something for you?
I I think it all got overshadowed by like just me wanting to focus on casting.
Mm.
So interesting story. I think last week. But when I was in college, I write a lot. I go to YouTube, I search for songs, well, instrumentals, I write to them, and then I post it in the comments, right? And from that, a relationship was forced between me and someone. Even up to today, I don't know who that guy is, but we exchanged emails. And 6 years later, after the initial email, the person emailed me again. He's now an entrepreneur, pursuing his masters. And he also started his own music production. And he wanted me to write. So I'm considering, but I told him no promises because I have other things going on with me, and I haven't no writ I haven't wrote anything for a long time. No, it's more of like a hobby, and no, right now it's more like a pastime, a form of expression. So I don't I told him no guarantees that I can do it, but we'll see. We'll see. I mean, he really wanted me to do it. He said that like the things he read, the things I wrote changed his life and how he approached life and how he wanted to give back to people and all of that. I don't know how much of that is true, but if it is, then I guess I'm happy that I was able to influence someone's life in a positive manner.
Yeah, and I personally think that it's something that you should, maybe consider to put a little bit more uh effort or try to expand that a little bit more because I think among us as peers, right, you have that musical talent and you have that musical brain in you. It's just that, whether you want to pick it up to the next stage or not.
Eh, Well, I actually tried to enroll for like a music production course, but I couldn't get into it because the dates of my cast. So it's very unlucky. Hopefully, in the future, I can free up some more time to do so. There's actually a place that teaches piano nearby, but it's a bit expensive for me, and I don't have my piano with me. And I refuse to rent the studio out for 20 ringgit per hour to practice. So no.
You might as well go to Battle Arena and play with a bunch of friends with the $20 per hour, something like that,
20 bucks for the whole day,
for the
like
whole
the
day.
I think back in the days for Battle Arena. I actually don't remember the price, but long gone are the cyber cafe days. Now I just play on my own PC.
I know, right? It's the days that we miss. But okay, so Mika said that if he's not mistaken, after WCS is Icons or Super League equals to Worlds or Global Champion, whichever that's called. So basically, he's hoping that you'll be able to go to the next stage after WCS. Then, so
I hope so too. Thank you. One step at a time. We'll see what happens after WCS, and then the results would answer everything. If
all the
if I don't make it this season, then there's next season. Just take it slow.
Like what you mentioned earlier, never give up, right? So yeah, I guess we're hitting our 2 hour mark now. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that we can talk about, and even like whenever we meet, it's like, oh, time just flies, and then we start talking, and it goes topic after topic, right? So it's
Yeah,
always a pleasure to speak with you. But maybe
it
HusKKiee,
is.
maybe for the aspiring casters out there who wants to be the next HusKKiee, who sees HusKKiee as, oh, this is the guy that I want to be in his shoes one day. What advice do you have?
Well, first advice is don't be like me. Be yourself. I don't think you should ever be someone, you know. I mean, like if I inspire people, then I'm glad, because I never came into this thinking that I want to. I've done any of sort. I talk about leaving a legacy, but that I don't think I'm at that stage yet. But to answer the question, just well, first of all, just try. Like you miss every shot you don't take, right? This is a space that allows you to make errors and grow from it. So if you really want to try out casting, just go for it. Pick like a vault or something, just try yourself. And talk to people, talk to the casters, like approach us. Even if you don't know us, we would gladly help whenever we can. We're all here to help you. And find your own identity. Like, are you play your color? Like, who do you want to be? What style do you want to portray? Who are you on screen? Like all of that. And do your homework, do your prep, and remember that don't think of this as a full-time thing. And I know, like, coming from someone who's doing this full-time, but for those who are starting out, don't think of it as a full-time thing, because unless you really